Okay, that message must have been short. Welcome to the Way of the Empath. I was trying to. Oh, this is something I've never seen before. There was a light that came. Oh, that's my light. Oh, yeah. Anyway, I'm looking at my car. Okay, guys. So, an example of an honest channel is mine. That's for sure. Because you guys, even though I don't show my face, because I don't want a bunch of crazies looking at my doing some disgusting things behind the scene with my energy and my image. It's kind of like Sia, Sia started that way too. Like Sia didn't want anybody to see her. And I mean, it makes sense because I've been that way all along. Because the thing is that it's not a choice. It's like people who want attention, they're like the ones who should not get it. I mean, they should not be getting it. Those who want to be leaders should not be leaders, okay? Those of us who are forced to be leaders because people need good leadership, we're the ones who are supposed to be leaders. Now, what drives me the most crazy in life, I never go crazy over it. It just really bothers me about being an empath, is that people are staring at me everywhere I go, and especially around the new moon, but they stare the hell out of me. It's like they just constantly got to know what's going on in my life, no matter where I am, no matter how far away I am, no matter how far out I go to get away from people, way out in nature, they got to constantly gawk at my life. And I'm a little bit annoyed right now because it is the new moonish time in a couple days, and it's this gawking just has to stop. It's like it's just constant, They got to stare into my car. They got to stare at what I'm wearing. They got to stare at every single little thing that I do. And if it wasn't for the fact that it's not that I have something to hide, it's just that I can't stand being watched. I think it's disgusting. I think it's disgusting to stare at someone else. It's like it's a very aggressive thing to do. Again, it makes sense because, as I mentioned in one of my last videos, is the human design system is such that 70% of the population are basically gawkers. They just don't learn. They don't know who they are, and they're basically just constantly taking energy from others. And those others are only 30% of the population, so it's kind of scary. It's because the world is unbalanced, and the empath is here to change that around. So to become an empath, we have to heal ourselves first. Now, of course, we don't just heal ourselves overnight, and we have to acknowledge that, and that's very important. And so while we're in the midst of healing, part of healing, my precious, true, and honest viewers, those of you who really do want to become empaths, that truly want to heal, you have the opportunity every single day to take a little bit of your power back by not letting people abuse you. You start with the way you treat yourself. You eat a vegan diet because that's removing you from the equation of doing harmful things to animals. Because as soon as we do that, we're not a victim anymore, because you're a victim when you create victims for others. Like animals never did anything to you. Even if karmically some animal had been an animal abuser in their past lives, so they have to become a pig in a scalding tank or something, it's not on you to decide that. That's up to God, right? Yeah, it's up to God. So it's like there's no point in going, well, I guess I ate that pork sandwich because some pigs had been mean. No, you don't want to do that. You don't want to justify. You want to look at it like progressively, proactively. Like basically, I take responsibility for my actions, and I'm not going to support an industry that is causing the most harm on the planet. And I'm not going to, basically, if you're just in that mode of selfishness, which happens especially to younger people, because you guys don't really have a lot to give yet. You're still growing up, right? And I don't blame my young audience. I mean, I get it. You're just trying to figure out how to live on your own. My viewers and my audience are supposed to be adults, so like 18 or older, because I do have, I wouldn't say necessarily swearing, but sometimes I have. And I also, these concepts aren't for dependents, okay? They're not for dependents. Children have a right to be protected, and they have a right to depend on their parents. They have a right to depend on their parents for support, for money, even when they're going through their early 20s and stuff. They might need help from their parents through college and stuff. That's completely normal. We want people to understand that, absolutely. What's not okay is once you're an adult, and even when you're 18, 19, 20, 21, you do want to be pressured to not be totally dependent on your family. You want to be moving away from that. And part of that has to do with, and I think in the future, everyone's going to be automatically vegan even when they're born, because there will be either cultivated meat available widely at a low cost, and or people will have gone beyond that and eat just plant-based meats and are happy with that. So we're in this transitional phase, and I think for younger people, remember, you're changing, we're all growing together, we're all learning together, and you are giving the opportunity to change the way that things are beyond what your parents did, because they did the best they could when they were in their time to change in their early 20s, and you guys can change by making your universities completely plant-based, your campuses. You could do things like that. But again, start with yourself. Start small, because you won't have the energy to deal with those other things if you're busy dealing with, if you don't have your strength and your own strength of character and your own lack of hypocrisy in that area. Like, for example, if you talk about animal rights but then you eat animals, or you even talking about environmental rights and you still eat animals, you're going to come off as a hypocrite, and people aren't going to believe you. This is why so many people at these like G27, G7, whatever, all those things, right? Or like the Paris Climate Accord and all that, like people are not going to believe that crap, excuse my French. And people don't get done at those things. They don't get anything done because they're hypocrites, because they're still eating meat and eggs and dairy. They're still flying private jets that aren't fully electric. They're takers. And so people aren't going to believe that. We have to start with ourselves, okay? And starting with ourselves means we begin with this, from this place in ourselves of kindness, we do want to shame, in a sense of like, this is after you're really seasoned though, so I don't even know, but I do want to say that if you judge me for some of my videos in the past where I'm saying that's disgusting and this and that, and even this one, I think I might have said that, you have to, you don't have to do anything, but I would just recommend that you consider the fact that part of it really does have to do with, I'm in this place of, I'm militant now. I'm in this place of like, I can give love where love is ready, where people are ready for it, but I'm not going to continue to give love to people who have continued to abuse it over the years. And where I am right now is I'm mostly extracting myself from communities and areas where people just didn't get it and they continue to abuse me and not take the steps that they needed to change their own lives. So the other thing I would say is that, so in that sense, like what I mean by militant, I think I will go into that right now because I want everyone to understand where I'm coming from, okay? So I've dealt with a lot of abuse as an empath, like on the daily, like 10 or 15 times a day, okay? That's a lot of abuse. I mean, a lot of people, a lot of you only get something like that once a month or once a year. I'm getting it like every day by like as many people as who can. And I'm at this place of just like, you guys can just freaking go to hell. Just live your hell out. Enjoy, because that's what you're doing to yourselves. And I will say that to them. I will outwardly say that to them. I will say, you know what? Clearly the reason you're treating me this way is you don't treat yourself well. You clearly don't love yourself enough, and you are supporting the animal holocaust. And because of that, I have nothing to say to you. Stay the hell away from me. And I will go away from them. And this is a very big one, you guys. We are trying to end slavery here. This is big. This is not a joke. This is ending slavery. If anyone wants to know what it's like in these Holocaust camps, these concentration camps for animals, go visit or go watch the Animal Holocaust, some of their videos on YouTube. Watch Gary Yourofsky. Watch how he became a terrorist in 15 countries by trying to save animals' lives. Educate yourselves on this, okay? because it starts there. I mean, if society would change overnight if people just gave up animal products, like we would all, even if it takes time, and it still does, because there will be times that you might accidentally eat something, or you'll be like somewhere where you're starving, you feel like you don't have any choice, and you don't have the courage or you don't have the willpower to do anything but like eat something that's not truly vegan. And you know what, I'm telling you, if that happens and you really, there was nothing you could do about it, you got to let it go. Get back on the horse and keep riding, kind of thing, you know. And I'm against riding horses unless they let you, and that's a whole another level of human. Because horses, when you're an animal communicator like myself, you know when horses want you to ride them or not. But a lot of people don't, so I wouldn't say that that's up the road for many of you. So because you bond so deeply with the horse, and then they want you to ride them because they want to show you the world and how beautiful it is together. So that's the difference. Okay. Yeah. So and animal communication requires a lot of patience, by the way. But I just was remembering of how, like, my birds taught me that, okay, I need to, if we're out somewhere. And we have egg laying nests in my car so that they can lay eggs wherever we are. So if we go out on a trip somewhere, we're going somewhere, go to the woods or something, and we're together, and we have our pop-up coops, and they're having fun in there and digging and finding all kinds of goodies and stuff. When one of them needs to lay an egg, she's taught me how to, okay, you're laying an egg, so that's time. I need to make sure that you they make a certain sound, and they'll say it a few times until, like, I've heard it. And sometimes it's water, sometimes it's something else. Usually not water, because I try to always make sure everyone's well fed and hydrated. But the egg laying thing, it's taken me a bit to really understand it, and it really broke my heart, because I was like, oh God, that's what they were trying to say, and they were holding it in. Because I think this is important to mention this, like, we're just in the moment. I'm going to share this with you guys, is that the egg thing, think about it this way, okay? Because it's the truth. If you had that large of a thing coming out of your body per pound, because if you look at a chicken, they are giving birth to a baby. Every time they lay an egg, they're giving birth to a baby. And all they have to do then it's not all they have to do, it's a very big deal. They have to sit on the egg for 21 days, if it's a fertile egg, for there to be a baby that hatches out of it. But they literally gave birth, because it's that much effort for them. And they created that baby. That's why they need that much food, because it became a hard egg from all of their nutrients in their own bodies. That's why they need to be fed regularly and very often, with chickens, for example. And when they lay an egg, it's a precious thing. They have an egg song that they make specifically for that reason. So, okay, I'm going to stop here with that. But yeah, just start with every day, stand up for yourself, be yourself, and much love. Be blessed.